Hey Landers and everyone else, welcome to the third day of the Nürburgring. Oh fuck's sake, I did this in the second fucking video. The Nürburgring track day, okay? And today we are driving the Audi R8. Now, the interior looks very sexy in this car when I was driving this game. This Project Cars really does give this gives the graphics the merit here. I mean, look at it right now. The shading, the shadows and the shading looks amazing. I mean, yeah, it looks so fucking good. I'm just lost for words there. Also, it was a very nice car to drive. Well, sometimes going around some of these corners. It was kind of heavy. I'll get to that point later. So the heaviness didn't give it merit driving around the corners. I mean, for a fast sports car, you know, it was, yeah. I mean, the performance, for me, it did perform rather well in this track. I mean, I was driving it, so obviously I'm not the best. I'm sure some people can handle it better than I can. But, you know, oh well, who cares? And also, it did take corners pretty cleanly when I was able to drive it around the corners pretty well. So some of the corners I kind of do mess up on, as you'll see later on in this video. I just don't do that well. I mean, I do spin out once and it's just like I cut it out because I didn't want you to see it because I'm a scrub. But you know, right, let's get on to some stats about the Audi R8. It comes with a huge top speed for sports cars in this game. Nearly one of the best if you're able to handle it. It comes in at around 207 miles per hour. I mean, it is probably one of the quickest sports cars, as I just said. I haven't verified this, but obviously looking at the stats that I've done for every single car, I wrote them all down. Just looking at them, it just looks like Audi R8 is probably one of the fastest sports cars in the game. As I said, sports cars because it's a sports car, not the GT cars because they're completely different. I mean, the Audi R8 GT car is much slower than the normal road car. It's just weird. I don't know why, but yeah. And it also has a ton of horsepower at 550, which is quite a lot for a car at this speed. I mean, looking at some of the stats right now for other cars, it is much quicker or has a lot more horsepower in comparison to some of them. I mean, a lot more. I mean, some of the slower cars as well, but you know, who cares? I mean, there's some quick ones in there, but you know, oh well. Now to the 0 to 100 and 100 to 0. First of all, we're going to go to the 0 to 100 seconds, and it comes in at 3.20 seconds. But that's pretty quickly. I mean, who would imagine it coming at that quickly? Yeah. It's just amazing. I don't know if that's 3 minutes, 20 seconds? But you know, normally 0 to 100 is done in seconds, so who cares? But you know, the 100 to 0 comes in at 2.61 seconds. Now that's also rather quick, I mean, but you know, it's a sports car. It's meant to have really good brakes so it doesn't crash. I mean, who would want to crash a really nice, expensive Audi R8 in here? I mean, I certainly haven't done that. I mean, going off the grass there, just a little tiny bit. Also, when you go on the grass, it kind of pulls you in a bit further. So if you see me go onto the grass in some of these episodes, and I try to get back on, but I keep on going further into the grass, I am literally tugging at the right analog stick if I'm on the right hand side. If I'm on the left hand side, I mean, if I'm on the left hand side, then I'll tug to the right and just try to get off it as soon as possible, but that doesn't always happen. And as I said, the performance and spinning, here I go, just sort of completely cut it out there. I spun. Took me a few seconds to regain not consciousness, whatever am I talking about, that's being punched in the face, to regain traction and performance or whatever to get back onto the track, but you know, who cares. And also haven't finished off the stats yet. It also weighs in a heavy amount of £3,728. That is really heavy. I mean, I know it goes at 207 miles per hour, but when you have that kind of weight behind it, and this kind of torque, the torque at 404, when you have that kind of torque behind it, and that kind of speed, and the acceleration, it kind of makes sense that the acceleration is a bit slower, like 3.20. It's kind of slow for a car that goes 207 miles per hour, just because it weighs 3,728 pounds. That's pretty darn heavy in comparison to some of the other cars in this game. Like, I think, just look at the ones right now. It is the heaviest out of all of them. Notifying that some of them aren't normally the ones, but you know, I mean, actually, yeah, I think it's kind of heavy because it's nearly weighing at 4,000 pounds. That's just bloomin' heavy for a car. But you know, coming up to these few straights, I mean, I love these straights. Just going down here, because you can sometimes fly when going down that hill, and you just brake, and just really feels nice when you fly. And then you just realise while you're mid-air for like a split second, you're just like, oh shit, I'm flying, and I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. So you just end up either nailing the corner or landing flat and spinning because you're braking in the air, which just doesn't work because you're trying to stop the wheels in the air, and when you land, you're moving at such a high speed, and it just spins because the tires aren't even moving and you're holding the brakes. But yeah, so we're actually taking the inside corner really well, but you know, we do go on the grass just a little bit on the outside because we couldn't keep that control. Well, I couldn't keep the control. Blah, blah, blah. Can't get my words out there. But you know, just coming up to the really long straight here, just not too heavy and not too long. Here we go. I probably reached around 190 miles per hour because sometimes when you go on this straight, you don't tend to reach the tops amount of maximum speed, like 207 miles per hour. I probably didn't reach 207. I probably got around 190 or something like that. I wouldn't know because I didn't have the thing on. As I said in the last episode, I turned it off for some stupid reason because I wanted to give you a more cinematic view like this, what you see now. I'd nearly spin out there. That would have been completely horrible. But yeah, we're coming up to the end of the track here, and I would like to thank you for watching, and I hope you have enjoyed this Nuremberg track day 3, and enjoy for next week's episode of track day 4, and goodbye.